everyone, welcome back to my channel. I haven't done a sit down video in so long. Let's jump right into it. I am officially like 20 months with my locks, and I just wanted to do a braid lock progression or just a braid lock update, just in terms of the texture of my lock itself. So let's get into the nitty-gritty. Let's get up into my crown. Let's really examine these locks. There are lots of areas in my head where the braid pattern has completely disappeared, and there are some areas where there has been no change in that portion of my locks. So I do really think that there is a technique to be used when doing braid locks, especially if you want them to lock quicker. Some people's hair types, no matter how tight they braid the braid, it's gonna lock regardless. But for others, I found that like braiding looser or doing very loose braids when you're braiding down does contribute to a short-lived braid appearance. So let's get into this head. Let's go. Y'all, this is super close on just like this little front section of my hair here. Let's look at it. So we'll just start right here, and this is the very front of my hair. You can see I still have loose ends. Let's zoom in on these. Those are my loose ends. You can still see in the front here remnants of braid pattern right here. We see a little braid pattern right there. We also see in that same category complete lockage. A lock all the way through. We see in that? One where we can see the braid, but it's very little. This starts like down here, so, and these here, not very much braid pattern on them either, or if at all. All those locks that I just showed you were just from this one section. Let's move further on back. It has a nice, pretty defined braid pattern on this one. Doesn't look nearly 2 years old at all, does it? Does this look 2 years old to y'all? Does this look 20 months to y'all? These in this area, there isn't very much braid at all. Like, none of these towards the ends have the braid pattern. No braid for real. So my theory is the more friction within your hair, the quicker your braid pattern will disappear. But I mean, there are some outliers to that, some that deviate from the norm. And I think with some of my larger locks, because this is so many different sizes, hard to say completely for sure, but I think these smaller ones do tend to lock quicker. You can see most of my ends kind of look something like this. I can definitely feel the budding going on all throughout these locks, not just this section, like all of them, but they kind of mostly all look like this, but they're definitely not coming loose or anything like that. So moving even further to the back of my head, even in this area, like I can see some locks reminiscent of braid pattern, but not actual braid pattern. Like, I don't know, these sort of look like braid pattern. Like, you can see it starting to disappear. Lint, gotta get the lint out. I told y'all in my last lock video that lint was becoming a problem. I meant it. Anyway, like, I can kind of see the braid pattern in these, but it's basically almost gone. And this is what the rest of those locks look like. So I wasn't really paying attention to showing you all these parts because all of this is interlocked. So we just saw like the hole to the middle of my head. But I have bobby pinned a couple selections for you all. I just wanted to show you some that I thought were really like nearly at maturity stage. I feel like they probably still have a couple months to go, but these I felt like were super mature. This one completely, there's a few loose hairs around it, but it's like budded at the end. Like it's kind of closed. I have another spot that I wanted to show you all too. Really love this one. It's in an awkward spot in my head. This is some of the ones that I undid last summer because I felt they were too thick, and I took them down and made them smaller. You can see here, it's literally closed up, and I'm just like, wow. And it's not as long as some of my other locks. So this is me holding this lock that I redid back in May of 2022, and one that I just let do its own thing, like didn't undo it. So me undoing my lock started that locking process over again. So my hair really shrunk up. So in the middle of my hair, which I'll turn around and show you guys the back, but I have this like short section, and it's because I redid those locks and they just look so much shorter than the rest of my hair. Like, look at that. And yes, these are in two different areas of my hair, but it's about like 2 inches apart. Like, space between these two is like 2 inches, and this should not be this much of a difference, but that's why it's a journey. I did undo the locks in this middle portion here, so they all are kind of like that really short size. Even that versus like one from way lower than that, my hair is still longer than these. The ones that I redid, it's like, but it's okay. I don't mind it too much, but it's like, dang, it's just so much shorter. And yeah, I had to undo like, I don't know, 20 or 16 locks and split them into two. I just said, I know I've had these locks for a year and wanted to redo them. So the locking process does involve a lot of shrinking. Now I'm going to do the best to show you guys the back of my head. So this is like where a lot of my shorter hair is, and it kind of just looks like a layer, to be honest. But my hair, I can definitely tell it is getting longer, but I usually do wear curls, so you lose a little bit of length with the curls, but I think the curls give great volume. I think most of my braid pattern is in the very top portion of my head, like the crown area. The ones in the back I feel like have locked very well. My hair isn't, again, I never did it super perfect, but I still do have some parts in here. A lot of them have gotten a little wonky, but my locticians do a good job at, you know, keeping it together. I've never done a whole retie myself. I solely let other people maintain my locks. Yeah. The usual price I pay is between $120 and $140. So I haven't lost any locks. I also just wanted to come and tell you all that nobody's locks are perfect. It's okay to have imperfect locks. I have like 5 different sizes in my head. Even locks that are literally right next to each other are not the same size. You can see this one on top is thicker than this one. A lot of my locks have lumps and bumps like this one. I get, what do you call it, bunching? I get bunching. I had bunching really bad, and despite all of that, I still love my hair, and I encourage you to love your hair too. All the little things that make your hair unique, and the journey is worth it. Eventually you will have smooth, nice, compact locks. But I think of the ones with lumps and bumps as Have you guys seen like butterfly locks? It makes me think of butterfly locks when I see the locks with the lumps and bumps. It gives me a bohemian vibe when I see those little inconsistencies in my hair. I don't care that much. Like, here's a little piece that's sticking out here. Eventually it'll go away, and if it doesn't, I really don't care. The braid pattern doesn't really bother me either. Just love your locks. This is your crown, and love it and nourish it, and your hair will be good to you. So yeah, that was my little lock tour. I'm actually about to go and do a protein treatment on my hair. You guys, if you've been following my journey, my most common problem that I discuss with you all is little tiny breakage on the ends of my loose ends. That's generally where I see the breakage. So I don't know why it never occurred to me, but I'm gonna do a protein treatment on my hair, and I will be showing you all that process in the next video about my hair. Most of the content that I post on my channel is vlogs and about my life and updates on my hair. So I would love you all to stick around if you have any questions about my hair. Other than that, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later.